Ready, set, go.
Greetings, undetermined spectators of the World Wide Web. I am tall, lanky guy. Now, I have weird feelings about personality quizzes. I love them. I love taking them. I love the more obscure the questions, the better, because I like finding out just how well a test can size me up without me being aware of how it's measuring me. I don't like feeling like I would be able to figure out how to purposefully get certain results based on my answers. I want to just be able to answer honestly and not know how it's going to affect my results. With that said, welcome to my Enneagram results. The Enneagram test is extremely popular. I would say it's become like a slightly more scientific horoscope. You can get as mad as you want at me for that comparison, but I stand by it. And I just thought it would be fun to go through my results, and then I've got the description from the Enneagram Institute about my type, and I'll go through if we have time, I'll go through both of my two highest types and see how I feel about what it says about me. So, we're going to start off with type 9, the Peacemaker. The easygoing, self-effacing type. Receptive, reassuring, agreeable, and complacent. Okay, hang on. Easygoing, self-effacing type. I don't quite remember what self-effacing means, but receptive, sure. Yeah, I'm receiving that. Reassuring, agreeable. Yeah, okay, yeah. Reassuring and agreeable. I agree with people, and then I reassure them. And I make sure to reassure people that I agree with them. Complacent? That can happen. That can absolutely happen with me. Apparently, under stress, I turn into a 6. And at my best, I am a 3. But generally, I'm a 9, apparently. And we're here to find out what the frick that means. 9s are accepting, trusting, and stable. They're usually creative, optimistic, and supportive, but can also be too willing to go along with others to keep the peace. Okay, no problems there. Creative, optimistic, and supportive. Yeah, those are things that I definitely try to be. Accepting, trusting, and stable. I don't know how stable I would say I am, but I try to be stable. I definitely try to be accepting and trusting. I'm very trusting. I'm a very trusting person, sometimes to the point of being naive. They want everything to go smoothly and be without conflict. Over the course of my life, I've grown less and less afraid of conflict. I think that if it happens, it's inevitable, and you shouldn't shy away from it or avoid it. Obviously, if something can happen without conflict and it just goes just fine, then not going to hear any complaining from me. They can also tend to be complacent, simplifying problems and minimizing anything upsetting. Yeah, that's just how you cope with problems, is you try to make it seem as like less of a problem until eventually you break down on the odd evening, realizing just how big all of your problems actually are, and get anxiety about the fact that they're all way too big for you to solve, and oh god, what does this mean for your life? Anyway, they typically have problems with inertia and stubbornness. Ooh, that's true. I do have problems with inertia. I have problems just getting up and actually getting shit done. I've been wanting to do this video for a hot minute, and sometimes it just takes me in the right mind to do any recording at all, which is why streaming has actually helped me quite a bit, because I set a schedule for myself and I'm like, I am streaming on these days at this time, and I'm gonna hold to that, which works nicely with my stubbornness. At my best, indomitable and all-embracing, they're able to bring people together and heal conflicts. Yes, that's absolutely what I try to be about. I strive for that vibe. Basic fear of loss and separation. Yeah. I don't like to be alone for too long. Or I don't like to be alone if it's not my choice. Yeah. Basic desire to have inner stability and peace of mind. Absolutely. As soon as I get to a point where I am doing what I want to do for a living, enough that it can pay, enough that I have the money to survive and live comfortably, I'm fine. I don't need anything else. Enneagram 9 with an 8 wing, the referee, that's not what I am. I believe I'm a 4. Yeah. Not Enneagram 9 with a 4 wing. I think that's what that means. Key motivations: want to create harmony in their environment, to avoid conflicts and tension, to preserve things as they are, to resist whatever would upset or disturb them. I mean, again, I'm no longer particularly fearful of conflict or tension, which is largely a result of me really working on my sense of self-worth, to the point where if the conflict that directly involves me, then I'm trying my best to address it. Sometimes conflict just needs time. Sometimes you just kind of gotta leave it for a second to let the dust settle and let everyone's minds get clear. But I'm trying really hard to not resist stuff that upsets me. Yeah. The meaning of the arrows, in brief. Okay, so this is the under stress and at my best. When moving in my direction of disintegration or stress, if I'm having a bad time in life, complacent 9 suddenly become anxious and worried at 6. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. The anxiety is a true thing that, yes. However, when moving in the direction of integration, growth, slothful and self-neglecting 9s become more self-developing and energetic, like healthy 3s. Learn more about the arrows. Okay, well. Examples: Queen Elizabeth II, Claude Monet, Norman Rockwell, Abe Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan. I don't like some of these fellow 9s. George Bush. Ooh. Well. Jim Henson. Okay, that's pretty neat. Ringo Starr, Carlos Santana. That's pretty cool. Audrey Hepburn. Nice. Jeff Bridges, Morgan Freeman, John Goodman. Okay, Whoopi Goldberg, Woody Harrelson. Those are good people. Jason Segel, Tobey Maguire, heck yeah, and Zooey Deschanel. Mr. Rogers. I am basically the same person as Mr. Rogers. That's what these enneagrams mean. That's it. My personality is exactly the same, no wiggle room, as that of Mr. Rogers. No debate. If you have arguments against, Let me know in the comments as to why I am not Mr. Rogers. Prove me wrong. I dare you. Homer and Marge Simpson. I got nothing to say about that. I'm not gonna think about that. We have called personality type 9 the Peacemaker. Hang on. Because no type is more devoted to the quest for internal and external peace for themselves and others. They are typically spiritual seekers who have a great yearning for connection with the cosmos as well as with other people. I am definitely an extrovert. I am not entirely an extrovert. I definitely enjoy my time to myself when I need it, but I will never deny opportunities to hang out with people, sometimes to its detriment. They work to maintain their peace of mind just as they work to establish peace and harmony in their world. Okay, the issues encountered in the 9 are fundamental to all psychological and spiritual work. Being awake versus falling asleep to our true nature. Presence versus entrancement. Openness versus blockage. Tension versus relaxation. Peace versus pain. Union versus separation. I don't know what any of that means. Hang on.
The issues encountered in the 9 are fundamental.
Okay, so basically what they're saying is I'm big brain. I am galaxy big brain. That's the main takeaway here. Ironically, for a type to be so oriented to the spiritual world, 9 is the center of the instinctive center, and is the type that is potentially most grounded in the physical world and in their own bodies. The contradiction is resolved when we realize that 9s are either in touch with their instinctive qualities and have tremendous elemental power and personal magnetism. Are they saying I'm a bender? Are they saying I can bend the elements? Or they are cut off from their instinctual strengths and can be disengaged and remote, even lightweight. I'm definitely a lightweight. I mean, I'm literally lightweight. When it comes to alcohol, I'm not lightweight. I'm not a heavyweight, but I'm not lightweight. To compensate for being out of touch with their instinctual energies, 9s also retreat into their minds and their emotional fantasies. This is why 9s can sometimes misidentify themselves as 5s and 7s, head types, or as 2s and 4s, feeling types. You don't want that. You don't want someone to make the mistake of thinking you're a 5, or, God forbid, a 2. Could you even imagine the outrage? Someone thinking you're a 2. Furthermore, when their instinctive energies are out of balance, 9s use these very energies against themselves, damming up their own power so that everything in their psyches becomes static and inert. Okay, are out of balance, 9s against themselves. Okay, so it's like my own momentum is working against me. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's very much how my anxiety feels sometimes. When their energy is not used, it stagnates like a spring-fed lake that becomes so full that its own weight dams up the springs that feed it. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what this past year has been. Has been me just wanting to do so much and do so many different things that I just freeze up. I have like 4 or 5 different video essay ideas, all of which are still in like note-taking stage. I've made one, which is nice. It's my first one, and I'm proud of that. But I definitely get this, where like just the creative energy just stacks up so much, and if I don't have a convenient outlet other than this, then it tends to start working against me. When 9s are in balance with their instinctive center and its energy, however, they are like a great river, carrying everything along with it effortlessly. Sure. Okay. Not entirely sure what that means. We have sometimes called the 9 the crown of the Enneagram. So, y'all better be taking that note. Because it is at the top of the symbol. And because it seems to include the whole of it. Okay, 9s can have the strength of 8s. Great. The sense of fun and adventure of 7s. Sure. The dutifulness of 6s. Alright. The intellectualism of 5s. The creativity of 4s. The attractiveness of 3s. Thank you. The generosity of 2s. And the idealism of 1s. Okay. However, what they generally do not have is a sense of really inhabiting themselves, a strong sense of their own identity. Nope. That's not true. I have a very strong sense of my identity, actually. Maybe that's part of being a 4? Maybe that's part of being a 4. But I have a very strong sense of who I am. Very strong sense. Ironically, therefore, the only type the 9 is not like is the 9 itself. What? What? Being a separate self, an individual who must assert themselves against others. Also, why are they... That's interesting that they use the feminine as the default pronoun. Interesting. Okay. Against others is terrifying to 9s. An individual... They would rather melt into someone else or quietly follow their idyllic daydreams. Okay, I guess that's fair in that I don't like advertising myself. I don't like foisting myself onto other people. I want other people to come to me. That's fair, I guess. But that's just because I have anxiety. Read, a nationally known business consultant, comments on this tendency. I'm aware of focusing on other people, wondering what they are like, how and where they live, etc. In a relationship with others, I often give up my own agenda in favor of the other person's. I have to be on guard about giving in to others' demands and discounting my own legitimate needs. Yeah, okay. I see that. I see you. I see you 9s out there watching this. I hope you contradict this in the sense of having your own sense of self. I hope you feel like you actually have a strong sense of your own identity. If not, you deserve it. You deserve taking the time to sit down and think about who you are. You need that. And you deserve it. You know? It's worth taking the time to figure out who you are. Yeah. 9s demonstrate the universal temptation to ignore the disturbing aspects of life. Okay. And to seek some degree of peace and comfort by numbing out. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, that's what YouTube has been a lot of days. When I'm just like super depressed or like procrastinating on homework when I was back in school. I would just sit and watch YouTube for hours, not feeling great because I would still be aware that I'm procrastinating and should be doing other stuff. But I just feel so numb and not wanting to actually get up and doing anything. They respond to pain and suffering by attempting to live in a state of premature peacefulness, whether it is in a state of false spiritual attainment or in more gross denial. More gross denial for me. More than any other type, 9s demonstrate the tendency to run away from the paradoxes and tensions of life by attempting to transcend them or by seeking to find simple and painless, solutions to their problems. Okay. Maybe I go the route of transcending them. Maybe this is the fact that I've simply transcended the Enneagram 9 type. Perhaps I've finally ascended beyond the Enneagram Institute like a god and no longer have need for these mortal constructs like numbered personality types. That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. Let's just assume that's what it is. To emphasize the pleasant in life is not a bad thing. of course. It is simply a limited and limiting approach to life. If nines see the silver lining in every cloud, as I try to, as a way of protecting themselves from the cold and rain, other types have their distorting viewpoints too. For example, fours focus on their own woundedness and victimization. Yeah, I suppose if that's my secondary thing, yeah, I've done some of that too. I've done some of that lately. One's on what is wrong with how things are, and so forth. I do a bit of that too. By contrast, nines tend to focus on the bright side of life, so that their peace of mind will not be shaken. But rather than deny the dark side of life, what nines must understand is that all of the perspectives presented by the other types are true too. Sure, yeah, okay. Nines must resist the urge to escape into premature Buddhahood or the white light of the divine and away from the mundane world. They must remember that the only way out is through. I agree with that. I agree that the only way out is through. The only way to succeed in life is to live. The only way to be good at living is to actually get down to business and defeat the Huns. The type 9 levels of development, healthy levels. Okay, so at my best, this is at my peak. This is the tallest and lankiest of the guy. We become self-possessed, feeling autonomous and fulfilled. Nice. Okay, cool. Have great equanimity and contentment because they are present to themselves. Good. Paradoxically, at one with self and thus able to form more profound relationships. Intensely alive, fully connected to self and others. That's a pretty cool jam. Those are pretty good vibes. I look forward to if I ever manage that. Level 2, deeply receptive, accepting, unself-conscious, emotionally stable and serene. Trusting of self and others, at ease with self and life, innocent and simple. Patient, unpretentious, good-natured, genuinely nice people. Nice. Okay. I feel like I've definitely been there a time or two. Optimistic, level 3. So this is it's downhill from here. So at some point we'll reach where I'm at right now. Optimistic, reassuring, supportive. Have a healing and calming influence, harmonizing groups, bringing people together, a good mediator, synthesizer, and communicator. Okay, so I feel like when I'm out with people, I would say that I'm at these healthy levels. I think when I'm out around people and trying to help them and just getting excited about stuff, I think I'm up at those higher levels. When I'm just doing my life, however, I don't think I'm quite there yet. Average levels. Level 4. Fear conflict, so become self-effacing and accommodating, idealizing others, and going along with their wishes, saying yes to things they do not really want to do. Fall into conventional roles and expectations. Use philosophies and stock sayings to deflect others. I try not to use stock sayings or philosophies to deflect others. I am aware of the problems that just, that dogmatic sayings and things like that can do. I don't feel like I'm usually really prone to that. But if you know me and you're watching this and I do that, this is the video where you can be real honest in the comments. I highly recommend it. Just let me know if you see me as one of these particular levels. Level 5, active but disengaged, unreflective, and inattentive. Do not want to be effective, so become unresponsive and complacent, walking away from problems and sweeping them under the rug. Thinking becomes hazy and ruminative, mostly comforting fantasies as they begin to tune out reality, becoming oblivious. Emotionally indolent, unwillingness to exert self or to focus on problems, indifference. I have been there. That was spring of 2019 for me. Yeah, that was, that's where I was at. I mean, maybe I ended up being lower down here at some point during that spring, but that was level 5 was definitely my default. 6, begin to minimize problems, to appease others, and to have peace at any price. Stubborn, fatalistic, and resigned as if nothing could be done to change anything, into wishful thinking and magical solutions. Others become frustrated and angry by their procrastination and unresponsiveness. There I am again. There I am again. Frustrated and angry by my procrastination and unresponsiveness. That. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I see you. And finally, at the truly unhealthy levels, can be highly repressed, undeveloped, and ineffectual. Feel incapable of facing problems, become obstinate, dissociating self from all conflicts, neglectful and dangerous to others. I don't feel like I've ever been dangerous to someone. Maybe I was there during that spring. Maybe I wasn't even aware of it because I was very not okay, and so maybe I had gotten to that point and just wasn't aware of it. But I don't feel like I've ever been dangerous to people. Level 8, wanting to block out of awareness anything that could affect them. They dissociate so much that they eventually cannot function, numb, depersonalized. I have had days like that. Usually I'm able to spend them at home. If it gets that bad, then I end up calling in sick, if I'm able. Level 9, they finally become severely disoriented and catatonic, abandoning themselves, turning into shattered shells. Multiple personalities possible, generally corresponds to the schizoid and dependent personality disorders. Okay, so I've never been there, but I think the worst I've ever gotten to is level 8. That's not where I am right now. I think I'm at worst, I get to level 6. At best, I'm 1 or 2, I think. At best, I'm 1 or 2. I've got problems, and I get anxious about certain things in my life right now. But for the most part, I'm not complaining. Not to say that I can't complain, because I can, and I do sometimes. But I am very aware of the fact that I do not have a bad life. I feel very blessed in a lot of ways, which is a weird thing to say. This year. There are a lot of ways in which the past year has absolutely sucked. Not like for me, sure, but like absolutely just for the world in general, 2020 has been rough, to say the least. Not just because of COVID. Some of the things that have been deemed rough are actually just signs of progress, I think. Like this year's activism movements, civil rights, and black rights stuff. I wouldn't count that an inherently negative thing. I think that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about the changes that do need to happen. Can it come across as aggressive? Yeah, but it's because the topic at hand is extremely important, and they're being made to feel like it's not. Which I think is why I think that disconnection is why a lot of people just kind of write off all the protests as just like, man, there's so much conflict in the world. There's so much hostility. But it's hostility and it's conflict for a really good reason. It's necessary conflict. Which is going back to this whole thing of I'm not afraid of conflict anymore. Or maybe I am to a certain extent, but certainly less than I used to be. I think conflict is not an inherently positive or negative thing. I think it can be either unnecessary or necessary. If it's unnecessary conflict, can be absolutely a inherently negative thing. But I don't think that all conflict is inherently negative. But yeah, this was really interesting. I had a lot of fun here, reading through and trying to see what stuff applied to me and what stuff didn't as much. Again, I don't see these, even if they're more researched personality theories, so that's what they are. I don't see them as hard and fast rules of how I must act. I'm not gonna attune my lifestyle to how the type 9 dictates I must be. But I think the fact that I agreed with so many of the things in this description, I don't think that's necessarily a coincidence. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this. This is a little different than what I've been doing lately, but I hope you liked it. I enjoyed doing it. I like talking about myself. Because I'm narcissistic that way, a little bit. So, if you liked it, you can go ahead and click the like button. If you know me in real life and you think that I'm a different Enneagram type, if you're well versed in the Enneagrams and you think that I count as a different Enneagram type than what has been told, let me know why in the comments. I'm curious to hear your reasons. And if you haven't subscribed or rung the bell, maybe this description, this approximation of my personality may make you want to do that. Yes. Other than that, I'll see you later.